How's it going, guys? In this video, I wanted to give you a review of the Astro A50 headset, which I've been using for about 6 months now, and I'm enjoying it a whole bunch. You might ask, why am I making it so late? The headset's been out for at least 6 months, and there's a ton of different reviews all over the internet, and to be perfectly honest, they're probably more in depth than this one's going to be. But the reason I'm so late to making a review about this is I did a review a little while back of the Razer's Sabertooth, which is a control pad for the 360, and at the time I gave it a pretty glowing review, but 6 to 12 months later I found that the controller was actually falling apart, and had I known about all its faults and problems at the very beginning, I would have given it a much different review. So I wanted to use the A50s for a decent amount of time to see how they performed long term and not just in the short term, because short term they're very, very impressive. So before I talk about the pros and cons of this headset, I'll just talk a little bit about what comes in the box and the difference between the different variations, because if you look on the Astro website, there's a PS4 version and an Xbox One version. Now if you dig through the information, from what I understand, the only difference is the Xbox One version comes with the connector cable that you need to do for chat. Other than that, they look like they're exactly the same. They all work with the PS3 and the Xbox 360, and they'll also work with PC as well. The Xbox One version does actually have some different colors as well. So the PS4 I think only comes with the black and blue, but the Xbox One has a green, and then there's like a tan, and there's a couple of other different choices as well. So if you're after a bit of choice in terms of color, maybe the Xbox One is the one that you should go for. In terms of what comes in the box, you get the stand, the headset, you get all the cables that you need, so the USB cable, you get the Toslink, which is the fiber optic cable, you also get the mix amp as well, and if you get the Xbox One version, you obviously get the chat cable. So there shouldn't be anything else that you need to get this thing up and running. The version that I own is the PS4 version, so that's why I've got the black and blue coloring. And in terms of build quality and durability, I've been very impressed with this product so far. Like I said, with some other products that I've used, I've been really happy with them in the short term, but over a 6 to 12 month period, I've found that the build quality hasn't been there, and they've just started to deteriorate and break, and certain functions don't work as well as they did when they came straight out of the box. The headset itself is really comfortable. The adjustment on it seems to work quite well. I mean, obviously I only have one head to try it on, but it seems to work quite well for my head. I've never found them to be too heavy or too hot with extended periods of play. This is a problem that I've had with some other headphones, like my Tritons tended to get a little bit hot after a couple of hours of extended playtime. One thing that I will complain about is when you wear the headphones around your neck. Like if you take them off when you're talking to someone, it's not very comfortable, it has sharp edges and it tends to dig in. Of course, this could just be my experience with the headset, and it's kind of a nitpick because I only wear the headset like that very occasionally, so it's not really that big a deal. In terms of setup, it's very easy to use. It's plug and play. You've got a couple of different cables you need to plug in. It doesn't need any power, so you don't need to plug it into the wall, which some other headsets do, which is a really nice feature. In terms of sound modes, it's got 3 different ones. So you've got like a standard multimedia one, which you might use for listening to music or movies. You've also got a typical game mode, which you'd use for pretty much all your games. And then you've kind of got a professional one, which you would use for first-person shooters, which I think kind of enhance the high end so that you can hear things like footsteps and other players a little bit more easily. All 3 modes seem to have a pretty good range and deliver satisfying booms and nice crispy high end, and I've never noticed any distortion either playing a game or watching a movie. These probably aren't the best headphones to be listening to music. I mean, they're not bad by any stretch of the imagination, but if you wanted to be listening to music more than you were playing games, I'd probably recommend a different headset. In terms of mic quality, this is me recording a little bit of audio using the microphone on the headset, and as you can probably tell, the quality is nowhere near as good as the microphone that I use for the rest of my voiceover work. It's definitely the weakest point of this headset, but having said that, you're probably not supposed to use this microphone for voiceover or commentary work, and in terms of an in-game chat microphone, it definitely does the job. Now, one of the most attractive features to me about the A50s, and the reason that I purchased them, is because they're wireless, and the built-in battery seems to last for a fair few hours, although my one issue with it is it doesn't really give you much warning before it goes flat. It gives you kind of like a tone which you can hear, and it beeps more frequently the closer it is to dying, and I just find that maybe it's about 25 minutes or maybe even less, so it doesn't really give you enough time to wrap up what you're doing and stick it back on the charge. So I guess a good question to ask is, are they good value overall? And I would say yes. The amount of quality that you get from this headphone is absolutely top notch. There's a few minor things that are issues for me with this headset, but nothing major. It's really just nitpicking, and overall I'm super satisfied. So if I had to give this thing a score out of 10, I'd probably go with 9, which is pretty high, but I'm pretty happy with them. Anyway, if you guys have got more questions about the A50s, if there's anything that I haven't covered or there's something that you want me to cover in more detail, be sure to let me know in the comment section. But other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I want to thank you for watching, and I'll catch you later. For all of my other voiceover work, it will definitely